I hope you guys don't mind my hair in this video because I literally don't know what to do with it anymore. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for coming. Today's video I'm super excited about because as you can tell by the title, the thumbnail, however you saw this video, I'm going to be talking about feminism today and how it relates to the Bible, what God has to say about feminism, what you should say about feminism, and just like in general, let's have a discussion because I feel like feminism today is like a very big thing and I've got a lot to say about it. So originally I wanted to make this video like a while ago, but I'm just now getting to it and I'm really glad I did because before then I didn't really know what I was gonna say, but as I was preparing for this video, God kind of just showed me a verse that I really wanted to share with you guys because I feel like feminism has changed so much throughout history. Back then, feminism was used to get women's rights to vote and things like that, and I think that's amazing. So in this video, I just want to say that I'm not against feminism and helping women to go to school and to not be arranged in marriages and to vote and stuff like that because I think that's essential and I think that's awesome. What I am kind of going to be talking about today more specifically is this new age kind of feminism, which is just super, how do I say it? It's just kind of crazy. It's kind of whack. It's really, I don't know. I feel like it's not getting anything done and it's actually going a lot against the Bible and what God has created women to be and what God has created women to do. So I wanted to make this video. I don't know if you're watching this and if you are a feminist or if you are not and you just were kind of curious, but I really hope with this video I'll be able to show the biblical view of feminism because I feel like today's idea of feminism is that women need to be exactly like men and do exactly what men do and basically be completely and utterly equal with men. And I'm not against that on a political and social level, but I feel like it's just women are trying so hard to be men and do the things that men do that they forget that we're women. Hello. So let me just explain this using a verse because the more I rant about it, the more it's just gonna not be good. So let's read this verse today because the Lord really brought me to this verse after reading through submission and how the Lord calls wives to submit to husbands. I came across this verse and I wanted to share it because it brings up two very important points that I think are kind of against what feminists are kind of preaching today and show what the Bible teaches and how the Bible actually still values women but shows it in a different light than what the world is showing today. Okay, so let's just read real quick with 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 7. It says, "Husbands, likewise dwell with them with understanding, giving honor to the wife as to the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers may not be hindered." The reason I bring up this verse is because I've actually been studying through 1 Peter, and originally I was studying through this chapter, and God had just kind of talked about submission, which I made 2 videos on submission recently. I'm going to link them right here so that you can look at them because I feel like as women in this day and age, we are constantly being told that we're oppressed. We're constantly being told that we're being undervalued and that we shouldn't submit, that we should do what we want, that we're independent, that, we're strong and empowered. And I'm not against those things, but I think that when we start making empowerment and equality and this idea of women being strong and mighty and just as good as men, we can get very carried away with that. And that's why I bring this verse in here because it brings up these 2 points. Firstly, it says, and this needs to be understood, that women and men are equal heirs of the grace that Jesus has given us. We are all the same and equal in value, equal in worth under Jesus Christ. And that needs to be said because I think a lot of people can get a wrong idea about it and think, well, obviously women are not as valued as men. And it's very unfortunate because if you look at many societies, that is the truth. Women are not treated as equals with men and women aren't as valued as men. And that's very unfortunate, but that is not because of what God has said in the Bible. That is not because of anything that God has done. That is because of sin. It is because men and women alike have allowed their sin to basically take over and now women aren't as valued as men, and it's really difficult and sad. But under Jesus Christ, we are equal with men. There is no distinction between Jew, Gentile, different types of people, different races, and same with gender. We're all equal under Christ. And that's one point that we really need to get straight. However, we also need to get straight, just as it says here, it's telling the husbands, take care of your wives, honor them, respect them, love them, because they are a weaker vessel. And we can hear that as women and be like, whoa, 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 wait, hold on. Did you just call me weak? Like what? And the Bible says like we are the weaker vessel, and we can hear that and be completely defensive about that and just be like, what the heck? That's so rude. Like, why would you say that? But if you look at it in general, women are technically and physically, not necessarily mentally and spiritually, but physically, women tend to be weaker than men in general. And that doesn't mean that like we're less than men in any way. It just means like we were built differently. And this is the point that I want to come across. Just because we're different doesn't mean that we are unequal. I mean, look at different races. You can have an African American, a Mexican, an Asian, a Caucasian person. They're all different, they look different, and they have different cultures and customs, but they're all equally human, right? And that's exactly what it's like with genders. A man and a woman are not built to do the same things. We obviously don't have the same anatomy, we don't look the same, we don't do the same things very well and all that stuff, but we are still equal. So I think what this new modern day feminism is taking out of the context is that equality is not the goal necessarily. Instead, what needs to be the goal is us being able to value each other spiritually, mentally, physically, all of that, without trying to be exactly the same. I mean, literally, who created us? God created men and women. Okay, he created man first, and he realized, okay, this guy, he needs some help. So he created Eve. If God didn't feel that there was a need for a woman, if God didn't feel that woman would add to a man's life, then why would he create her, you know? And so this is the whole thing too that I really dislike about feminism, is that it says if you don't believe what we say, if you're not equal to a man, if you're not doing everything that a man can do and working in all the ways that he's working, then you are less than. And I feel like that is so wrong, because you did not create women, you did not create men, so you cannot decide their worth. Christ created us, and so in that we are intrinsically worthy, and we are able to portray that worth in different ways. Like, just because we're different doesn't mean that we're not equal. And I really think that that's something that feminism is missing out on, and something that the Bible makes so clear. We're all equal under Christ. Although we are different and we have different roles sometimes, it doesn't mean that our worth is less than. Just because you may have a wife who stays at home and takes care of her kids does not make her any less worthy than her husband who goes out and works, and vice versa. The point is that God gives us our worth, not our job, not what we're doing, not how much weight we can lift, not how much miles we can run. Like, it is God who gives us that worth, and I feel like that is what this whole modern concept of feminism is missing out on. Equality with each other does not mean always that being the same is the best. Equality is knowing that intrinsically we are all valuable, and we all have different things that the Lord is calling us to do, and that's okay, because God gives us our worth in the first place. So I hope that this video made some sense. I hope that you were able to see something. Maybe you're feminist and you're like, okay, that makes sense. Maybe you're not. But I just really feel like this whole idea of feminism is actually putting women down instead of like lifting them up. Like, the only way that we're all ever gonna find like our true calling and our true worth is in Christ, and it's not in what we're doing or how we portray ourselves, or if we're as good as this guy or as good as this other girl. Like, we just need to stop comparing ourselves and know that God created us the way that we are for a reason, and we need to be able to find purpose and life in that, because if we try to go out of that, it's just gonna be a mess. So like I said before, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, let me know. I want to continue to make videos just about these kinds of topics that I feel like the world is really getting wrong. So if you have any topic that you feel like you would like to hear about, then comment it down below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I literally never say this anymore, but don't forget to subscribe to my channel. You can even turn on the post notifications if you want to, so you can be notified when I post a video. And yeah, like this video if you liked it. Anyways, I will see you next time, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.